It could be a discussion.
How's it feeling to be a Newcastle fan this morning, by the way?
I'm happy.
He's dumped all
No, listen, now it's time. Now it's time. Let's get rid. You know, people are calling them rat, they're calling them all sorts. When I saw the fans turn at Aston Villa on Saturday, that was the turning point. And I think now it's time. Get him out. Because if a player doesn't want to play for your club,
get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
Get him. There's anything in the principle of just saying you are not leaving. Like, do serious clubs sell their best players?
Mm-hmm. If they're unhappy, I think there's times where you've got to say enough's enough. I think I think a lot of players. I think a lot of players don't want to play in the northeast.
Yeah,
that's a fact. It's difficult to recruit players in the northeast. They want to be in London. They want to be Liverpool, Manchester's, where it's probably a better quality of life. But he signed a contract. He was happy with his contract. He's played well enough. What I can't understand is if he's that furious, why not put a transfer request in? What's he not got the balls to put a transfer request in and say like the olden days, like we used to? Why are they saying?
I wonder. Well, you know the answer to that. Put your transfer request, you lose all your money.
Correct, but then have the frigging balls to do it instead of using the.
What struck me last night, that I don't know from a legal point of view, that kind of is a transfer request. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They could probably use that if they do eventually sell
lawyers.
Yeah. They could probably use that. As saying, well, you've essentially asked.
But why are the club pussyfooting? It seems to be from an outside. Why are you not finding them 2 weeks' wages already?
I think the club must have to acknowledge as well that they've made a pig's ear of the situation. Yeah. They would have sold him if they had signed Sesko, Delap, Burma, Ekitike. If they'd got anyone over the line, they would have sold him.
Yeah, but why did Liverpool then go back to that argument? Liverpool could have had what they wanted. We had the chance to sign.
Ekitike, they wanted both.
Mm-hmm. And they wanted both.
By the way,
both.
But don't all want both. But the fact is, if we'd signed Ekitike and Liverpool signed Isak, this situation wouldn't have been solved.
Sesko.
Who, by the way, having seen Sesko, the Arsenal lad whose name I still can't pronounce,
Gyökeres.
And Ekitike, I've seen them all because I was at those two games.
Ekitike, the one?
Well, on that evidence.
On that part evidence, on that
they're
part.
At home against Bournemouth.
Yeah, come on.
The Arsenal lad was away at Old Trafford. It's harder, obviously, but on that evidence.
Can I pick up one point very quickly?
Yeah.
See this whole notion of not being happy in the North East?
Yeah.
I don't buy that now because most players, even at Man City, will get a private jet and disappear to New York for a weekend.
Yeah, but it's
and also living on the Northumberland coast, playing golf in Berwick or whatever it is.
No, it is, but it came years ago. Remember Rob Lee?
Yeah.
Rob Lee, it was so difficult to get Rob Lee from London up to the North East. But every player, including Rob Lee, will say, every player that's played for Newcastle will say one thing: what a great city. I loved it up there. It was the best time I had. But trying to get that player up.
Roy Keane said something, didn't he? When he was manager at Sunderland, he said the Wags won't come or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so difficult.
I mentioned it to Regis Labrie last week when I saw him at Sunderland. I asked him about it, and he didn't push it back. He acknowledged it, and he said, "Yeah, well, essentially, he said." There were lots of planes to London. He just said lots of planes to London, and he said you've got to give them the right incentives to come. And that's what we've done. And he meant money.
But if that's the incentives, money, that's when you create the problem in the dressing room, don't you? That's
you also talked about the club, and the bottom line is he acknowledged that it's an issue. One of the things that did make me laugh last night in bed when I saw the Isak statement drop, shows how early I go to bed these days. Was that line, which I don't think anybody else has picked up on it.
Is that the cryptic one?
Hang on, now having to...
The line from the Newcastle side? Or
no, the line...
There was a line in the Newcastle statement as well that shocked me.
There's a couple of...
in the line in the Newcastle statement...
Just a bit from Isak when he goes, I've kept quiet. Yeah. Well, hang on a minute. What's the most famous, prior to last night, what was the most famous utterance ever from anyone connected with Newcastle United? Kevin Keegan, 30 years ago to Sky, I've kept really quiet. That's how he started it. The Fergie.
Do you think that's a deliberate?
Of course I don't know, but just makes me... I would love it if I ended up at Liverpool. That's how we should have finished it. I would love it if I'm out of here by Wednesday.
What a toxic stadium it's going to be on Monday. It's going to be, because that game's fierce anyways because of the rivalry.
You know, we were saying about the North East and the issues and whatever of getting players, attracting them. That isn't what this is. Like Alexander Isak wants to join one of the most exciting sporting projects in world football. This isn't his way of moving to a more arguably more glamorous part of the country. He just wants to be part of the champions. Wants to be part of what they're building. I don't think this is his way of angling out of Newcastle. It's a sporting matter. They've signed Aaron Ramsdale. He's looking at Wirtz. He's looking at Ekitike. He's looking at what's going on at Liverpool, playing with Salah, playing with Van Dijk, icons. And he's looking around and he's going, Aaron Ramsdale. It's not inspiring for the best striker in the league.
One thing I want to pick up on that, actually, because I think it's quite an interesting thing, is that atmosphere you're talking about. It's going to be lively. Think about other games you've probably covered, Ian, right? When Sol Campbell moved across North London, Ashley Cole, the Chelsea move.
When they had all the £50 notes with his face, they had him on the pitch.
What's the one that's the most toxic? Mo Johnson for Celtic and Rangers?
I've done it, haven't I? Because we talked about the Figo. I was at the Figo one when he went back to the new camp for the first time with Real Madrid, Pig's Heads and all the rest of it. And for those who didn't listen to that episode, the chairman or president of Real forbade him from taking corners in case he clocked a coin on the back of their head. Steve McManaman refused to sit next to him on the bus on the way into the stadium because he knew what was going to come through the window. So I absolutely can't top that.
I think Mo Johnson might be the one. So Rangers had never signed a Catholic.
Yeah.
Graham Souness comes in as manager. He's about to sign for Celtic and then goes to Rangers. It's a mental story.
Yeah. Can I just say though, and Roy, you might have a take on this. I think this can turn. This can turn back.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he's in this corner, and he is in a corner, and at the moment you would say that only Liverpool could get him out.
I'm not having that.
No, seriously.
I know what you're saying. I get that the fans are so against him now.
Look,
I've never seen how the fans have
got it in him, because it doesn't sound like he has. He would have to say sorry.
No.
But I tell you, look, Wayne Rooney considers signing for Manchester City, by the way. And
did he?
And they.
I know what Geordie fans are like. I remember Mike Ashley, and I was in a VIP area, and we'd just been beaten off Man City, and all the fans were going to give Mike Ashley a load of grief when he gets up on stage and does his address to the fans after the game. The moment he got up on the stage, you know what he said? Guys, I'm really sorry for the performance. By the way, everybody in here can have a free pint. He got a stand ovation. I went, he's a turn coach. I know what you're saying. Fans can turn, but this is more than this now. This is literally one thing. That statement last night.
Wayne Rooney had Man City in his ear. That's probably a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney had Man City in his ear at that contract standoff, right? Steven Gerrard thought about going to Chelsea twice. By the way, so come on, and no one talks about Steven Gerrard in anything other than legendary terms.
They always performed. They always performed. Like John Terry at various points was linked to Man City as well. Like those things do happen, but I feel like the performances have always been there. Alexander Isak was at Sociedad on his own. Like his rehab wasn't even happening at the club that are paying his wages.
I'm saying,
and if you refuse to play,
he'd have to.
I don't think Steven Gerrard, unless they made an injury up, or Wayne Rooney, or all these players we've just discussed, Isak has refused to play.
Yeah. I think there's something else going on as well. I think that's just the focal point of all of Newcastle's disappointing action over the summer, isn't it? I think Newcastle fans even angrier.
The public face.
It's just making it worse, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. And we're still one game in. We've got no CEO. We've got no sporting director. We're still in the club going backwards as an organisation.
You mentioned all the names before, Rory, of the players that they've tried to sign or they might sign, but lots to talk about Whistler at the moment. But he's not a replacement for Isak. It's a totally different type of
totally different
player. Also, everything that Alexander Isak is doing to Newcastle to go to Liverpool, and the Geordies, the season ticket holders in the Gallagher livid. It's exactly what Whistler's doing to Brentford.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Like the hypocrisy.
What did Anthony Gordon did it at Newcastle Everton? He did exactly the same.
If you want to watch more episodes of Whistleblowers, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll keep you up to date all the way through the summer with everything that's happening in the world of football.